hands over my eyes because it's dark suddenly, and a man is standing there with a candle blocking the stairs that go up, and the cellar walls are all around me, and I know I will never get out. This is what I told Dr. Jordan when we came to that part of the story. 1859. I am sitting on the purple velvet settee in the governor's wife's parlour. I have my hands folded in my lap the proper way, although I have no gloves. The gloves I would wish to have would be smooth and white and would fit without a wrinkle. I am often in this parlour, clearing away the tea things and dusting the small tables and the long mirror with the frame of grapes and leaves around it, and the pianoforte, and the tall clock that came from Europe. I like the clock best of anything in the parlour, although it measures time, and I have too much of that on my hands already. But I have never sat down on the settee before, as it is for the guests. Mrs. Alderman Parkinson said, "A lady must never sit in a chair a gentleman has just vacated," though she would not say why. But Mary Whitney said, "Because, you silly goose, it's still warm from his bum," which was a coarse thing to say. So I cannot sit here without thinking of the ladylike bums that have sat on this very settee, all delicate and white like wobbly, soft-boiled eggs. The visitors wear afternoon dresses with rows of buttons up their fronts and stiff wire crinolines beneath. When they walk, they are like swans drifting along on unseen feet, or else like the jellyfish in the waters of the rocky harbour near our house when I was little, before I ever made the long, sad journey across the ocean. They were bell-shaped and ruffled gracefully, waving and lovely under the sea. But if they washed up on the beach and dried out in the sun, there was nothing left of them. And that is what the ladies are like, mostly water. The reason they want to see me is that I am a celebrated murderess. Or that is what has been written down. When I first saw it, I was surprised because they say celebrated singer and celebrated poetess and celebrated spiritualist and celebrated actress. But what is there to celebrate about murder? All the same, murderess is a strong word to have attached to you. It has a smell to it, that word, musky and oppressive, like dead flowers in a vase. Sometimes at night I whisper it over to myself. Murderess, murderess. It rustles like a tuffeter skirt across the floor. Murderer is merely brutal. It's like a hammer or a lump of metal. I would rather be a murderess than a murderer, if those are the only choices. When I have gone out of the room with the tray, the ladies look at the governor's wife's scrapbook. "Oh, imagine! I feel quite faint," they say, and "You let that woman walk around loose in your house? You must have nerves of iron." Oh, well, one must get used to such things in our situation. We are virtually prisoners ourselves, you know. And after all, she was trained as a servant, and it's as well to keep them employed. She's a wonderful seamstress, a great help in that way, especially with the girls' frocks. The governor's wife's scrapbook is kept on the round table with the silk shawl covering it. It was sent from India by her eldest daughter, who was married to a missionary, which is not a thing I would care to do myself. You would be sure to die early, if not from the rioting natives as at Cawnpore, with horrid outrages committed on the persons of respectable gentlewomen, and a mercy they were all slaughtered and put out of their misery, for only think of the shame. Then from the malaria, which turns you entirely yellow, and you expire in raving fits. On the same round table is the stack of Godey's ladies' books, with the fashions that come up from the States, and also the keepsake albums of the two younger daughters. The daughters put all kinds of things into their albums, little scraps of cloth from their dresses, pictures cut from magazines, and their friends write things in their graceful handwriting. To dearest Lydia, from your eternal friend, Clara Richards. To dearest Marianne, in memory of our splendid picnic on the shores of bluest Lake Ontario. And also poems. When I am dead and in my grave, and all my bones are rotten, when you see this, remember me, lest I should be forgotten. That one is signed, I will always be with you in spirit, your loving Nancy, Hannah Edmonds. And the first time I saw that, it gave me a fright, although of course it was a different Nancy. Still the rotten bones. They would be by now. Her face was all black by the time they found her. There must have been a dreadful smell. She went off surprisingly soon. You'd think she would have kept longer in the dairy. I am certainly glad I was not present. It would have been very distressing. I don't know why they are all so eager to be remembered. What good will it do them? There are some things that should be forgotten by everyone and never spoken of again. The governor's wife's scrapbook is quite different. It has all the famous criminals in it. The governor's wife cuts these crimes out of the newspapers and pastes them in. She will even write away for old newspapers with crimes that were done before her time. It is her collection. She is a lady, and so she must collect something, and she does this instead of pressing flowers. And in any case, she likes to horrify her acquaintances. So, I have read what they put in about me. A lot of it is lies. They said in the newspaper that I was illiterate, but I could read some even then, and I have learned a lot more since being here, as they teach you on purpose. They want you to be able to read the Bible, as religion and thrashing are the only remedies for a depraved nature, and our immortal souls must be considered. It is shocking how many crimes the Bible contains. The governor's wife should cut them all out and paste them into her scrapbook. They did say some true things. They said I had a good character, and that was so. But they called James McDermott my paramour. They wrote it down right in the newspaper. I think it is disgusting to write such things down. That is what really interests them, the gentlemen and the ladies both. They don't care if I killed anyone. I could have cut dozens of throats. No, was I really a paramour is their chief concern, and they don't even know themselves whether they want the answer to be no or yes. It's not the ladies expected today. It's a doctor. Where there's a doctor, it's always a bad sign. Even when they're not dying, they're killing themselves. It means that death is close. But this doctor will not hurt me, the governor's wife promised. All he wants is to measure my head. After James McDermott was hanged, they made a plaster cast of his head. I read that in the scrapbook, too. Also, his body was dissected. Doctors cut him into little pieces, like a pig to be salted down. His body that I listened to breathing, and the heart beating, the knife slicing through it. I can't bear to think of it. I did not see the hanging. They hanged him in front of the jail in Toronto, and if it had not been for Grace Marks, he told them, none of it would have happened. I can hear their footsteps now, and I stand up quickly and brush my apron smooth. Then he comes through the doorway, big stomach, black coat,